Welcome to the Science of Fiction HFY Galaxy Tales. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you never miss a new story from HFY Galaxy Tales. Where humanity always finds a way. The baby in the crater. The sound came just after midnight. It wasn't thunder, but the sky lit up as if lightning had split it. John looked out from his cabin in the woods and saw a fireball streak through the clouds, crashing into the forest behind his home. The ground shook slightly. Birds flew away. Then, silence. John grabbed his flashlight and coat. His cabin was far from town. No one else would check. He followed the trail of broken trees and burnt grass. Smoke rose in the cold air. When he reached the crater, his heart skipped. At the center of the glowing pit was a small, silver pod. It hissed and popped as it cooled. The hatch creaked open. Slowly, carefully. And inside, wrapped in a soft green cloth, was something alive. A baby, but not human. Her skin was light purple, her hair soft silver, her eyes glowing gold. She looked no older than a few months. Her ears were pointed. Her small chest rose and fell with fast, shaky breaths. John stepped closer. Her golden eyes opened wide. She blinked, then, in perfect, soft English, she said one word, Dada. John froze. He looked around. No one was there. Just trees, fire, wind, and this strange little girl, reaching her hands toward him, crying softly, Dada Dada. He didn't know what to do, but something in her voice cracked his heart. He reached down, wrapped her in his coat, and held her close. She stopped crying. He brought her home. John wasn't a father. He wasn't even good with kids. He had served in the army, lost friends, and wanted nothing more than peace in the woods. But that night, everything changed. He gave her milk. She drank it. He warmed blankets. She curled into them. He played soft music. She hummed along. Every time he left her side, she cried. Every time he held her, she smiled. And always she said that word, Dada. The next morning, he tried calling for help. The satellite phone didn't work. Radio was static. No internet, no signals. It was like the world had gone dark. So he waited. He fed her mashed fruits, cleaned her softly. She laughed when he made silly faces. She liked warm tea smells. She didn't like the cold. She loved being held against his chest. She listened when he talked to her. Not just like a baby but like someone understanding every word. He called her Star, because that's how she arrived. 3 days passed. John built a small bed for her, sewed a soft toy. She giggled and hugged it all night. He caught himself smiling more than he had in years. She had filled the silence in his home, and in his heart. Then came the night when everything changed again. Bright lights appeared in the sky. He stepped outside. They weren't stars, not helicopters, not drones. They were smooth, silent ships. One hovered above the crater. One above his cabin. His chest tightened. They had come. A beam of blue light scanned his home. The baby inside didn't cry. She looked calm, as if she knew, as if she had been waiting. Then, the front door opened. But John hadn't touched it. A tall figure stepped in. She wasn't human. Her skin was lavender blue. Her armor shimmered like glass. Her hair flowed like liquid silver. Her eyes were fierce and glowing gold, just like the baby's. She moved with grace and strength. Her gaze landed on John, on the baby in his arms, on the soft toy beside her. John stepped back. I don't want trouble, he said. The woman didn't speak. She walked forward. Her eyes never left the baby. Then finally her lips parted. You have my daughter, she said in a low, sharp voice. But she won't stop crying unless you hold her. Why? John looked down. The baby smiled up at him. The alien mother saw it, and for the first time, her proud royal face cracked just a little. She's not crying anymore. John didn't move. The alien woman stood tall inside his wooden cabin. Her armor shimmered like moonlight, her eyes sharp like a blade. But all her strength faded the moment the baby reached again for John's chest and said softly, Dada. The alien's eyes widened. I am her mother, she said with tension in her voice. But she won't let me hold her. She screams when I do. And you, her voice cracked slightly, you calm her just by standing still. John looked at the baby in his arms. She was glowing softly now, her small fingers gripping his shirt. He gently rocked her, whispering a lullaby without thinking. The same one his mother used to sing. The alien watched in silence. Her hand twitched, her jaw clenched, but not in anger and pain. She was lost, she said finally. In battle. Her escape pod was launched before the enemy could take her. We searched every system near the crash vector. No trace. Until your planet sent out a signal unintentionally, your satellite caught her pod's energy signature. John spoke quietly. She's been here for 3 days. I've been trying to call for help, but everything's been jammed. We blocked your signals, the alien said. For security, we did not expect this. She stepped closer. The baby opened one eye, saw her mother's face, and began to whimper. John held her tighter. It's okay, Star. She's your mama, he whispered. The baby looked back at him, then buried her face in his chest. The mother's shoulders slumped. I am Verilyn, she said finally, commander of the Valari Guard. This child is named Niari. She is not only my daughter, she is heir to our high bloodline. Our last hope. She's not crying anymore, John said. Not since I picked her up. Verilyn looked at him, with something new in her eyes. Not anger, not suspicion. Something soft. Something curious. You are not a father, she said. Not by blood. No, John replied. But she called me one anyway. Verilyn stayed that night. She sat in a corner of the cabin, her armor dimmed, her eyes watching as John fed the baby a warm mix of mashed bananas and oat milk. The baby laughed. Tiny alien giggles filled the wooden walls. Verilyn tilted her head slightly. What is that sound? She's laughing, John said. That is laughter, Verilyn asked. You've never heard it before. We do not laugh, she replied. There is no time for such things. John smiled softly. Well, she seems to love it. Later, John placed the baby in the crib beside the fireplace. She rolled over, hugged her toy, and slept in seconds. Verilyn walked over and looked down at her. She has never slept this peacefully, not even in her birth chamber. John nodded. Maybe she needed peace. Verilyn looked at him again. Closer this time. Her eyes scanned his face, his hands, the small calluses, the soft voice, the calm way he moved. She trusts you, said she chose you. I didn't ask for it, John said, his voice low, but I couldn't leave her there. Not in that crater. Verilyn nodded. For a long time, they both stood near the crib, listening to the fire, watching the small child breathe. And something passed between them. A kind of silence that held meaning. In the morning, Verilyn asked to help. John showed her how to heat milk, how to mash fruit, how to hum softly while feeding. The baby smiled at her, but her arm still reached for John first. Verilyn didn't show pain, but her voice was softer. You teach her with such care. Any parent would, John said. No, Verilyn replied. That is false. Many parents are present. Few are gentle. John didn't answer. She touched the blanket on the crib. You made this, yeah, sewed it by hand. You are strange, human, she whispered, but not in a bad way. John looked up, their eyes met, and something deeper passed between them this time. That night, Verilyn sat beside him on the couch. The baby rested between them, her small chest rising slowly. Her fingers curled around John's thumb. Verilyn's hand brushed her daughter's forehead. Then, without warning, she spoke. I used to think humans were weak, she whispered, soft, emotional. But now, John looked at her, waiting. Now I understand, she said slowly, what strength truly is. He said nothing. She leaned closer, her voice barely a breath. She chose you first, John. But now, I think I do too. Not just the baby. Verilyn had never stayed this long on a foreign world. Every day, she told herself she would leave with her daughter, return to her war-torn planet, resume her duty. But every time she watched John hold the baby, something inside her shifted. The child Niari had stopped calling him Dada like a mistake. She now said it with joy, with full trust, as if the word truly belonged to him. And maybe it did. One morning, Verilyn stood quietly at the cabin's doorway. She watched John teach Niari how to stand. He held her tiny hands, lifted her gently. She wobbled, fell. He caught her with both arms and smiled so big. Even Verilyn's chest ached. You're strong, little star, he whispered, brushing a leaf from her cheek. The baby squealed, grabbed his beard, and laughed. Verilyn smiled. A real, warm smile. One she hadn't known she could make. That night, while Niari slept between them again, John turned to Verilyn. You could take her, he said quietly. You have ships, a palace, family. Verilyn stared at the flames. I do, but none of those things ever made her smile like you do. John didn't speak. He wasn't good at feelings. He never had been. She knows safety when she feels it, Verilyn added. And now, I think I do too. John looked at her. Her face was softer in the firelight. Not a commander, not a warrior, just a woman, a mother, maybe something more. Later that week, Verilyn began helping with the chores. She chopped wood strong and precise. John watched her and laughed. You swing an axe like it's a sword. It once was, she replied, grinning for the first time. They shared meals, taught each other small things. John showed her how to make soup. Verilyn taught him how to sing a lullaby in her tongue. Niari would light up every time she heard both languages in the same room. It felt like a family. One evening, as snow gently fell outside, Verilyn spoke again. Our people breed in labs, she said. We never know the father. I was selected for war, not love, not companionship, but here. I have learned more in these days than in years of command. John nodded. Sometimes the quiet teaches more than war. She smiled again. And, sometimes, a human who lives in a cabin can change an alien mother's heart. John looked at her, surprised. Is that what I did? She stepped closer, her voice low, but steady. I came here for my daughter. But I stayed for you. They stood by the crib again. Niari slept soundly, hugging her small toy. Her silver hair glowed gently in the firelight. Verilyn's hand touched John's. She didn't pull away this time. She chose you the moment she saw you. Verilyn whispered. I didn't do anything special, John replied. You didn't need to, she said. You were kind. That's rare in this galaxy. They stood quietly for a while, listening to the baby's soft breaths. Then Ver said something he didn't expect. If you will have us, I don't want to leave. John looked into her golden eyes. They weren't hard anymore. They held a question, a hope. You really mean that? He asked. She nodded. I was trained for battle. But with you, I've learned something else. Something better. He gently touched her fingers. I'm not perfect, John said. Neither am I, she whispered. They leaned closer, not rushed, not forced, just natural. Their foreheads touched, their eyes closed, and in the crib, Niari let out a happy sigh. As if she understood, from that day forward, the cabin didn't feel like just wood and stone anymore. It was home. For a human man who had given up on the world. For an alien mother, who had given up on love, and for a little baby who had chosen her father with one simple word, Dada. The end.